Rise and shine. This is now day 3 of homeschool. Right now I am currently preparing breakfast for the kids. So for this morning I'm doing toasted bread with fried eggs. I'm also doing some fresh cut up fruit, and I'm going to add some cheese to the toasted bread with the fried egg. So I had the kids do a little exercise as they are waiting for breakfast to be ready. And I asked them, what do you want to be when you grow up? To me, this is the most important question to ask a child when they are young in age. I remember being in school, and I was probably like I want to say maybe 2nd grade, and they did this exercise with us where they passed around a piece of paper and we all had to write, what do we want to be when we grow up? I wish I had that paper to this day so that I could just look back on it and see what was my beginning motivation and inspiration for life before it got tainted by the wants, needs, and demands of others. I'm not sure if this is something that schools still introduce, but this is something that I for sure wanted to incorporate into our homeschool program because it's so important to just get the mind of a child, because kids come into this world knowing what they want to do. It's already implanted and embedded within inside of them. So we as adults can't tell a child what they should be. We have to ask them, what are you here for? Because only they know that answer. It's not our responsibility to provide that to them because it's already on the inside of them. And that's why there are so many kids in this world that are just lost, that are just out of tune with life because they feel so pressured by doing things that they might not necessarily want to do, but is being forced upon them. So I completely want to take that away from the aspect of learning when it comes to my children here in our homeschool program. I want to know from them firsthand, what is it that you want to do? We have to address that question before we can go any further. And breakfast is served. Hey, Tootie, she ready for school?
Yeah.
Okay. Homeschool has worn my Tooties out. We have just wrapped up homeschool for today, and we actually had a really good time. And I don't know. I was kind of like iffy about doing homeschool with the kids, to be honest, because I felt like it was just going to be too much. I didn't think that I really had what it took to really, do this thing on my own. At this point, I don't even know if I'm probably loving it more than they are. You are?
You teach us good. You don't need to teach us.
Oh, okay. My son said they don't need no other teacher because I am the teacher. So do you think that I have good structure with the homeschool setup?
Uh-huh.
So you think it's going well?
Yep. I like it. I like when we learn about the drugs addict. That's my favorite part. At the end, when we about to close school, that's my favorite part. To learn about the drug addict.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm doing drug education with the kids, which is like really exciting. And I feel like that's something that has been removed from the school district. And for reasons as such, you find more and more young people who are getting hooked on prescription pills, especially. And so I really wanted to incorporate that back into our educational system because I want the kids to understand that drugs is real. And you can get hooked on drugs and it could destroy your life. And because this part of education has been removed from the school system, kids don't have that same education anymore. So they just out there buck wild, taking whatever, and they don't know no better. So I want my kids to be fully informed. I want them to be educated about life. Yes, education is absolutely important. We got to know our addition and our subtraction and our multiplication and, the basics, okay? But outside of the basics, it's important to just be able to know about life and how to navigate life. So I'm planning a whole structure based on navigating life. We are learning not only just the basics and of what we need to know educational wise, but I'm going even beyond that. And I'm just like so completely excited about this opportunity to work with my kids in this way, and I never thought that I would even be in a position of even wanting to do this or even ever had the thought to do something like this. But the more and more that I have to sit with this idea, like, wow, I'm really homeschooling my kids, the more and more it's becoming a reality that, wow, this is a huge responsibility to teach a child, especially to be responsible for the direction of a child. It's like, wow. I'm really honoring that I am in a position that I am right now to be able to personally teach my kids. Not only does it give me the opportunity to interact with my kids, watch my kids grow up, raise my kids thyself, not by the school system, but really be that intricate part of my kids' life that was missing and I didn't even realize it. Of course, yes, I'm a present parent. I'm here when my kids get out of school, but outside of school, when you think about it, the majority of their day, every single day, Monday through Friday, when school is in session, is spent in a classroom setting with a complete stranger that you don't know. So to be able to kind of take back that power of being able to teach my kids and help them to navigate life on my own is like, wow. Wow. Wow, I never knew that we needed this. I never knew that I needed it. I never knew that my children needed it. And I never knew that I was going to have this wave of emotions going through this whole process. But it's super amazing and I'm really loving it. I'm enjoying it so much. And I know that my kids are enjoying it also. You know, when they're having challenging moments and we're in school, I, as a parent, have that opportunity to be able to directly interact with my kids in that moment, whether it be emotionally, whatever challenge shall arise, I am there as their parent to help them overcome that challenge. And it's just something different about being able to do that I'm just falling in love with it each and every day. And I don't know if it's just me, but the more I think about this whole school system situation, now that we are out of that system, I'm like, man, like these educational systems are really putting kids in an institutionalized mindset. You know, when you think about it, you got to wake up early. They have to be up by a certain time. They have to, you know, and some people may call, no, it's structure. Kids need structure. Some people may look at it like that, but to me, I look at it like you're institutionalizing the child. Children need the freedom to be able to experience who they are. They need that freedom to be able to say, I want to be this when I grow up, without it being forced down their throat. They need the freedom to be able to be who they're supposed to be. And it's almost impossible to become that from a school standpoint. School is strict guidelines. They have a whole agenda set up, unbeknownst to us half of the time. And so kids aren't really able to be their true, authentic selves in a school setting because of these guidelines that are implemented. Half of the time they're expected to sit there like a robot and just listen to instruction. They don't have that freedom to be able to move around and interact and engage the way that they need to. Yes, there's a time where you have to pay attention, and yes, there is a time where you have that freedom. But in school, that freedom is very restricted and is very limited. I came across a comment that was left by OCOC6649, and this is what it reads. There are more and more Ghanaian parents that are choosing to do homeschooling than send their children to be miseducated by the Ghana school system. I hope you will find more parents who are doing homeschooling where you can build an association in Ghana. And I wanted to pause right there and elaborate. I want to zoom in on miseducation happening here in Ghana. And I want to elaborate because it's not miseducation that's just happening here in Ghana. It's miseducation that is happening everywhere. So I totally agree with this comment. I feel like when it comes to the school system, there is a lot of miseducation happening. There's a lot of hidden agenda happening where they want to program our children to think a certain way, to perceive life a certain way, to behave a certain way, to interact a certain way. Everything is very planned, manipulated, and very strategic. For that reason alone, it's so important that we as parents become more active in the education of our children. I know not everybody has the opportunity to do that. You have single parent households who they have no choice but to go to work, and they have to leave, unfortunately, their kids in the hands of the school district, the school system, hoping that they are doing right by their kids. But sadly, this isn't always the case, and a lot of times it's causing kids to have emotional issues where they're not able to cope with life because they have a lack of coping mechanisms in place. And it's just, kids are expected to be a robot. That's not realistic. That's not reality. Kids cannot just be looked at as robots. They have to be in an environment that is going to allow them to flourish and grow. Not only is education important, but it's also important to pay attention to each kid. What did this kid come into this world to do? What are they supposed to become? Do we even care anymore? I don't think we do, because the school system is so busy about keeping numbers and quota and getting grades and grades and grades and grades and grades to the point that we don't see outside of that. And life is bigger than grades. Life is bigger than an A. Life is bigger than a B. Life is bigger than an SAT. Life is bigger than just the school system. And when our kids are placed in this environment, they're placed in an environment that's putting them in a box. And kids are literally becoming depressed because of it. They're turning to things like drugs and addiction and partying and being in the streets because they're trying to find something that's going to help them figure out, who am I? What am I supposed to be? The school isn't doing it. The parents aren't around to help them figure this out. So they have to turn to somewhere, somebody, to figure out, who am I? What is going to make me happy? What can I do to make me happy? When am I going to have a choice and a voice in my life? We like to think that because kids are kids that they don't have no voice, just, shut up and be a kid. Like I was told by, my elders when I was a child, but doing that to a child is only harming them. It's not doing them any good. We have to allow kids to be vocal, to vocalize who they are, to vocalize their needs, to vocalize times when they may be in distress. We live in a society where kids are not able to vocalize. They're expected to be seen and not heard. It's damaging our kids. We have to do better. And I'm hoping that by homeschooling my kids, it'll open up conversation, not only conversation, but maybe it'll bring in opportunity for other parents to decide to homeschool their kids as well. We'll see what happens, but I'm loving this experience, and I wish more parents had this opportunity. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. I have got to run. I got to go get the kids some dinner, get them prepared for our morning adventures. Oh, and by the way, we have reached 800,000 views right here on the channel. And it's all because each and every one of you tune in time and time again to watch these videos. So I want to personally say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for all of the support. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the interaction and the engagement that you bring to the channel. Thank you for showing up and being here and being a part of these different topics that we have. And thank you for not giving up on me and not giving up on Just Vlog. And I will see y'all on the next video. If you are new here and you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I will see y'all on the next video.